Right, hi everyone, welcome back to Exehaven Harbour. Been a while, apologies for that. The builders have been in and I just haven't been able to get to anything. So, as we speak at the beginning of this video, I've done nothing in here at all. The garage is completely blocked out with stuff. So yeah, hopefully by the end of this video you'd have seen some progress on the Helix. So anyway, moving on, a couple of recent purchases. Got myself another soldering iron. Silly me, the last soldering iron I had, I left it on. It burnt the tip out. So I'm on to my third soldering iron now. Oh no, maybe my fourth actually, because I had that solder gun. And I've done the same thing with all of them. So I've burnt the tips mainly because I've left them running for too long. But anyway, hopefully third, fourth time lucky. We'll see. But yeah, I just got it off of eBay. I did see a video a little while ago saying that the higher wattage you can get, the better it is. So I've gone for 100 watts and we'll see how that goes. But you know, at the end of the day, I'm only soldering little bits of wire to the track, so hopefully it'll do that job. So now, the model centre over the first bank holiday in May had a sale on, and it was half price. And this Graham Farish Toad, apologies for the camera work, let me just turn that over so you can see what it is. 20-ton towed brake van, BR bauxite early. Well, all of the brake vans that I have don't run very well, so I thought I'll invest in a brand new one. Now, usually these towed brake vans are about 25 quid, and I just think that's a little bit dear. But anyway, because it was a half price sale, we got that for £12.50, I think it was, which was pretty good. And while I was there, I happened to see these buses. There was a whole load of buses, but the red ones are Devon General, which fits in with the theme of the layout, and Southdown. Now, Southdown sort of just about fits in with the Southern Region theme, and I like the colours, to be honest. It just reminds me of the 50s and 60s. I remember taking a bus ride many bus rides going into my local town of Southend-on-Sea, and we used to have blue and cream buses, and they were lovely, and I remember them very well. And yeah, I bought those, but they were all, I think generally they were about £8, £9 to buy, and they were £4 each. So I was very happy with that as well. So what I'm going to do now is just going to have a little test, going to have a little running session test of the brake van, and I'll sort that out in a minute. So there's the brake van, the towed brake, and in all its glory. And I've got to say, there's quite some detail in that little model. Really like it, and it runs pretty well so far. It's been running now for about 10 minutes now with no problems, unlike my other brake vans. And yeah, there she goes. Happily wending its way around. Class 50 thumping by. I do like that. I do like having that running with the sound. It's lovely. Right, so the free download from Scousines has been done. The little store. Nice little kit. Certainly, because it's free, it's worth doing, so that you can just practice doing the kits. And it was quite fiddly, but it was quite rewarding. I made the wooden version rather than the concrete version, but I've still got all the bits. Yeah, and with scale scenes you can reprint them and do them again. So yeah, it's going to be a nice little addition to the layout. Could be I don't know, something like a cockle shed, you know. So we'll wait and see, but there we go. So we're moving on to that. We're moving on to the next project, and I ordered from Petite Properties Harper's Yard, and we have it here. It's like a laser cut kit, and what I intend to do with it is clad it in wood. Now I've bought some very thin balsa strips, and as you can see there, I've cut a strip off that's 3mm wide, which in end gauge is 1 foot 6 inches. So I've done it. I was thinking about doing it in 2mm, but it's very difficult to cut at 2mm. So 3mm was a good option. So we've gone with that, and I'm about to probably colour it first before building the property, just to see what it comes out like. So I'm going to go for a sort of black wash, which I'm hoping will bring it out like a grey. And then I think, after seeing a few things on Jason Jensen trains, I might sponge on a colour, but I've yet to decide what colour that is. But we'll follow that up at some point once I get going. Right, so there's the balsa wood after the black wash. So there's one that hasn't been, obviously, and that's the comparison. So what I'm going to do now, I think I've decided on doing a very sort of light blue, and I'm going to stipple that on using a sponge, and we'll see how that turns out. And then we're going to cut that down into 3mm strips, and then we're going to use it for the cladding on the Petite Properties Harper's Yard. So watch this space, be back shortly. Right, so to make the light blue, we're going to use cerulean and white. So hopefully that'll come up with the colour that I'm looking for. And it should look quite nice on the building once it's done. Hopefully, if it turns out well. Right, so I've actually cut out some 2mm strips as well. They're the two at the top, and I'm going to use them for some trim down some of the edges. And I've just, they were the ones that I sort of give a dark stain to, and I've just sort of sponged over some white on top of those. And these are going to be the actual boards to sort of cover the outside walls. And as you can see, they had the dark stain, and now I've given them that sponging of blue and white, really. Mix the paint up and it give it a lighter effect, and it just gives a hint that it was once painted blue, but in the sea air it started to wear away and looks a bit knackered. So yeah, there we go. That's taken me about half an hour to do that. Cutting that balsa wood, that's so thin, I can't remember, I think it's sort of 0.5, like half a mil thick, maybe just a little bit thicker, but you know, it's so easy, it's like paper. And in fact, it's better than paper really, because it's got a little bit of thickness to it and it makes it easy to cut. So I'll get back to you. I'm going to start putting the kit together and we'll go from there. Right, hi everyone, here we are, now preparing at last to do the Helix section. First thing I've got to do is I've got to build a board that stretches across to here. I'm going to have to peg the wires up. I've already got some things in place ready for that. I'll have to do a couple more round here, but I think initially I shall get this board done for where the helix will run down onto. So again, I'm still at a point where I'm not quite sure how I'm going to do the helix. I thought I had it in my head, but as I do, I change my mind about how I'm going to do it. Rather than being a circular helix, I might actually do an ovular, if that is a word, helix. But we'll just see how that fits in. The track will run down through that hole, and as you've just seen, will come underneath and will somehow complete its journey down to a sort of level on that helix. So obviously watch this space. I'm just going to pause it there. I'll come back to you in a second. Right, so just to remind you, this is going to be the area that's going to be Exehaven Harbour station. Now the tracks run up there, and there's a junction up the back there where the Class 50 and its coaches are sitting, and the third rail, the furthest one back, forms the line that will take us down to the helix. And on its journey, it goes underneath Exehaven Harbour station, and here there will be another little branch that will take us down into the dockside area. Again, something yet to be worked out in my mind. And this track runs right round. There'll be one coming off of here which will run right round the back of the dockside area, and it will run right through and under there, and then come down underneath and then back down to the section I've just shown you. So just to give you some idea where it's coming from, and that will form a return loop. I will have to get a return loop module which will electrically fit to the track so that there's no electrical problems, and that will come at some point. So that's where we're at. So I'm going to get on with it now, and I'll come back to you later once I've completed this book. Right, so going back to Harbour's Yard, the Petite Properties kit. It's a lovely little kit, easy to put together. I've put all the windows in, doors and so on that come with it. Lovely bits of detail. Don't know whether you can see that there, sorry, poor camera work. And now what I'm going to do, because you're left to your own devices in terms of giving it a covering, and if you remember back, I'm going to use, if I can place that down there, and I've painted up some balsa wood. I'm going to make it wood panelling. So that's been painted up in a sort of bluey, browny, it's meant to depict some weather-worn painted timber cladding. So that's going to go on the building. All the doors have been painted white, so I'm hoping it's going to look quite good. So I'll come back to you once we've done that. Right, so little brief update, and I'm thinking it's looking pretty good. Got my strips of balsa wood that have, like I say, have all been painted up in like a distressed sort of blue colour, and yeah, I actually think that's quite a good effect. Gonna probably come round to the front now, or I might even go and do another easy part, just get the easy parts out of the way and then start cutting up all the different bits when I have to get into the little corners and bits and pieces. So yeah, really pleased with that. The vision I have for this Harbour's Yard, it'll be like a little fisherman's, where he keeps his boats and his nets and all that kind of thing, down by a little quayside, which will in a long way in the future will happen, I hope, and I've got a lovely few visions for that. I live near a place called Old Lee, or Lee-on-Sea, and there's a lovely section to Old Lee where all the cockle sheds are, and there's buildings similar to this down there, and come the time we'll take a few photos and then maybe have a little trip out and I'll do a little bit of filming and we'll have a look at that. But like I say, that's a long way in the future. So yeah, that's where we are. Okay, so welcome back to Exehaven Harbour. As you can see, we've got a latest addition to the fleet. Warship class, which fits in quite nicely with the theme of Exehaven. I believe these trains run on the western region and on the southern region. And this was a bargain from Hatton's, pre-owned, 75 quid, and it is actually brand new. When I got it out of the box, checked the wheels, everything was just absolutely perfect. So if it has been used, it's been a very light usage. So currently got it on the test track. It's running on DC at the moment, just to give it a run in. It's been going for about 20 minutes. It runs quite smoothly on DC, which is quite nice. I haven't even ordered a chip for it yet, so that will be in the post in the next week or so, and then we can get that programmed in and onto the actual layout itself. But in the meantime, got it out on the test track in the garden whilst I'm having a cup of tea, and we're running it in. It's done about, like I say, it's done about 10 or 15 minutes one way, and it'll go and do a half an hour the other way at some point. So there we are. So hopefully I'm going to get this video out today, which is Friday the something or other of June. Got a clue. It's been a month or so since I've done my last one, so apologies for that. It was mainly due to all the building work that's been going on here, which is now finished. I'll just pan you over there. Our new lovely room we've moved into from our old lounge, and it's absolutely lovely. So hopefully now we can start getting on with that Helix, as I keep mentioning and promising in the clips during this video. So watch this space, as they say. Right, cheers for now everybody, and I'll speak to you soon.